Hi, sorry I'm late. We're live. What's this?
Oh, it's
We are,
being streamed.
we are live.
Oh, okay, nice.
Should Are we playing copyright music?
Yeah, not. Oh, we'll start in 4 minutes.
Okay, well I've already started streaming, so.
It's fine as long as you don't watch your stream that's playing the copyright music.
I'm not watching it. I'm gonna see how everything's doing on Twitch.
Can't get copyright for Beethoven.
Copyright for Beethoven.
You can't. It's public domain.
Yo, let's play some Beethoven.
Beethoven,
Yeah,
the real Clyde.
Let's get some culture up in here.
Yeah, or Lacrimosa by Wolfgang Mozart.
All right.
Yeah, Mozart gang.
Let's just get some. Let's just do it, man.
19th century villain music.
All right. Okay, we're live. We're good. Let me know when you guys are starting.
Dominic, what do you mean? Do we have a voice channel?
What?
Because we're in a voice channel
Yeah,
right now.
we're totally in the voice channel.
Actually, we're not. We're in a separate dimension.
And they're in a voice channel.
Oh, I see. Maybe we should have one.
Voice text channel. I see what they're saying. Yeah.
I think maybe
That
we
would-
should.
That is a good suggestion.
Okay, it's
I
time
was
for
gonna say
that.
maybe we stay in an alternate dimension and never come out of it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know, guys. Should we add it?
Let's just
Um,
phase out
add
in
it.
reality.
Yeah.
Add it as general,
General voice?
Maybe just a thread.
general voice,
Yeah.
yeah. And we can have like all the things like develop voice, gaming voice, love activity voice, or something. Yeah. Oh my god, another house.
Okay.
Maybe how it is.
We have general voice now.
What's this general voice?
So, how you guys doing today?
Officers, can you check Officer General?
All right. All right then. You guys doing good?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. What you been up to?
No, not much.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I'm playing Left 4 Dead later today. Or are you saving that for the stream?
What?
Can we play Left 4 Dead?
What's the? Hello for.
Can we play Left 4 Dead
Yes, we can play Left 4 Dead. Should we just
tonight?
Let's just play a quick game of Left 4 Dead right now.
Oh, God. No, thank you.
What, you want to play? You said
Okay.
You said I'm not cool. What's this, man?
Okay. Let's get the meeting started. Julius, are you ready?
We've been streaming for the last few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and start. No copyright music on your stream, right?
No,
Good. All right.
I turned it off.
All right.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Today is the pitching and team forming meeting. And we'll be basically be deciding on our teams by the end of this meeting. So we had 5 people sign up for the pitching today. And before we do that, let me run through the meeting and what's going to happen first. First, you're going to do the pitch presentation where everyone who signed up for pitching will pitch. After, we'll go into breakout rooms where you guys could talk to the pitchers and discuss some ideas you might have, some technicalities, ask them some questions about what kind of skills they need, etc. And after, we're going to regroup, and each breakout room leader or pitcher will give a brief summary of what happened during the breakout room meetings. And after that, we'll do another breakout session. And this time, you will go into the team that you want to join for the rest of the semester. And in that session, you'll exchange team information and have some discussions about what you guys want to do, your plans about the project, and you will have the team. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Then let's jump right into the pitch presentations. And let's have Marco go first.
Yeah, sure.
So everyone, please join Marco's stream for his presentation.
Ooh, okay. And we have 11 people. How many people are in right now? A lot of people in general. Just gonna wait till more people are in. 17 here. 19. 20. When do you think we should start? How many people?
Everyone, please join Marco's stream so you can listen to his presentation and see the visuals.
29 people in chat and 20 in. Okay.
Okay, let's just...
Yeah, I think I'll start. There's 24 people. Everyone else could just catch up. Okay, so I'm Marco Romagna. It's my Discord tag. You'll see it at the end, so don't worry about it yet. My project idea is called Do It Again. And I think I had a little nice inspiration from the game Assignment. I'm not sure how many of you heard this, but this is like an old-timey game, you know, where you have to match the pattern that pops up. And if you mess up, you know, it's game over. So something you could play by yourself or with friends, and it's a pretty interesting type of game. So I took inspiration from this, and I was like, hey, what if we put this in more of like a top-down adventure game format, right? And so I got thinking about this, right? And I was thinking to myself, okay, like what kind of story would this be like? So I thought of a story. Now, your character is stuck in a hopeless situation, and you have been trapped in this homeless time loop, and you want to fix your own time flow, so you're going to have to search for a way to fix it. And there's going to be a few core gameplay elements I'll go over real fast. So you're going to pave a path and try to find a way to escape this time loop. And if you go off this path that you have paved, you go back to the last checkpoint, and you receive a penalty, okay? This could be something like losing a life or score. I haven't decided that quite yet. Now, an interesting thing is when you pave your path, it's going to be very key, because every decision you make, you're going to have to keep repeating that decision until you get to the next checkpoint. But if you make a mistake, you could always reset and go to the last one. And then a last note, if you run out of lives, you know, the game is over. So added elements to, you know, make this less tedious or interesting. You could have tiles that could activate, and somewhat inspiration, like, you know, Pokemon games, you have the little movement tiles, right, on the floor, and it would speed things up a bit, or, you know, add a bit more speed to it. there's also stuff like you could put traps in here, or maybe if you step on something, it will activate some dialogue to help you figure something out. Similar to like a sign. Now there's other game modes I'm not sure I would do for this. So the first thing I was thinking of is just a story mode. You're just trying to find the way to fix it, and then when you reach the end, you've won the game, you've done it. Another thing you could do is you could make a versus mode with this, and you and a friend could try to see who would, last the longest, right? Or whatever. Or you would take turns trying to see how far you could get together. And then there would be like an optional endless mode if you just wanted to make this into like a single player game where they're just trying to see how long they could last. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure of some of the finer details of this project of where I want to go, but I think it would be a very interesting type of game that isn't really out there too much. I mean, there's like puzzle games. There's, if you've ever played Helltaker, it's more of like you have a limited number of squares you could go across before you lose. And this one, it's more of like your decisions don't necessarily harm you, but they take a bit more thought because every decision you make, you're going to have to keep repeating it until you get to the next checkpoint. And so that's my idea. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
So, what kind of art style are you going for in this game?
Yeah, I had it in my design doc. So when I was thinking about this, I was mostly thinking of, again, it's going to be like top down, maybe 2D. I don't think I'm going to be a 3D unless there was someone who's really good at that who wanted to do that. But otherwise, keep it simple, make things very clear of what they are. Dominic in the chat is asking, if you deviate your path, what do you mean by that? So I was thinking of something like rounds. Each time you make a movement or a certain number of movements, you have to basically you get reset. Like time pulls you back, and you have to do it again. Think of it like rubber banding, right? It's going to give this weird rubber banding effect where you're going to have to go up, and then as soon as you get a new point, you're going to have to start back at the start, but of that checkpoint, right? So if you move forward, it's going to rubber band you back, and then you're going to have to move forward and then pick a new thing to do. And you're going to be stuck in it. Yeah, it's like Groundhog Day, right? It's the name of the project is Do It Again. So, you're stuck in this thing, and you have to keep doing it. And that's why all of your decisions matter, because everything you do, you're going to have to keep doing. And if you mess up, that's going to be harsh. Yeah, we have time for, I think, 1-2 more questions. I don't know how much time we have left.
One more question?
Yeah. Let's see, TJ typing. Yeah, you're allowed to give suggestions. There's also going to be the breakout rooms for a more in-depth discussion. Yeah, definitely. If you think something's cool, you feel free to let me know. Yeah, very, very unorthodox game, I would think. It's weird. I understand that. I think it's pretty neato though. So, I mean, for anyone who's interested, feel free to hit me up in the breakout room after the presentations.
So on top of that, like rubber banding, Simon says mechanic, where you after each turn you get reset to your first position. So you gotta follow the pattern the same way every time.
Yeah,
like,
you have to follow your steps.
But like on top of that, what's the general mechanic? Like on top of that, is it gonna be a dungeon crawler, an RPG?
Yes. So I was thinking of sort of like top-down adventure. You're sort of going around, you're exploring, you're trying to find your way out, and there's going to be like checkpoint zones where time is a bit more stable after a point, and you sort of found a bit more out of your way. But yeah, so essentially there's going to be some traps. Maybe you could hear some story in the dialogue. You're going to have to use the landscape and certain things to your advantage to make it easier. Yeah,
Okay.
Dominic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. If next person's ready. Or
Let's move on to the next person. But that was do it again.
yeah.
Can we move on to Umair Khalid, if I'm saying that right? Khalid? Stormblessed.
Yeah, can I join in like two after the next one? I'm still finding the room here. I'm setting it up.
Okay. So
Sorry.
then let's do Moon. Moon, are you ready?
Yes. Just give me a second. Okay. Has everyone joined? Should I just start?
Everyone, please make sure to join Moon's stream so you can see the visuals.
Okay, I think that's everyone. All right. I suppose I'll start. So hi, I'm Jihan Moon. Just call me Moon. That's my Discord at the next to it, Cheesy Moon 2962, and this is Project Crustacean. So before I begin, actually no, never mind. Let's go. So what exactly this is? It's gonna be like a cute 2D platformer with Smash Bros. Style combat. Basically, just meaning there's two attack buttons, each with like directional attacks. So there's like an up B, up special, neutral jab, whatever, and then alongside roguelike elements to create a replayable platformer. So basically, like enemies will have a chance of dropping permanent stat upgrades like speed up, jump increase, attack range increase. So like, yeah, you'll be getting random upgrades throughout the game, and it'll create a slightly different experience each time. Yeah, and gameplay is it's gonna be a standard 2D platformer with dashing, wall jumping, and that fun stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, 2 attack buttons for basic and special attacks. And then yeah. So your main goal is just to get to the end, beat up the boss to get like a special upgrade. And yeah, and get to the end to have more fun. So as you can tell, I spend a little too much time thinking. So there's gonna be like 2 playable characters. And they both have like a resource bar so that they're like so their powerful abilities are like gated and whatever. So the first one on the left, he's a spear user. He can teleport. Like his main ability is that he can teleport like short distance and completely be like unfazable. So that's very powerful, but it's very expensive, so you have to constantly refill your resource with your basic attacks. Character on the right uses a drill weapon that's shaped like a globe and shoots lasers from her eyes, but like it's very draining, and you have to wait. You have to like the resource only refills by waiting, so if you use up too much of your magic, then you have to use your melee attacks. So balancing out the 2 actions is very important. So the art style, as yeah. So I'd like to try my hands at hand drawn with wobbly outlines, like in Edit E, as shown here, with bright pastelish colors used. I say ish because I'm pretty sure this is considerably more saturated than regular pastel. So the story is simple. Treasure map flies into the guy's face, and they go get the treasure alongside a friend. So it's lighthearted, nothing too serious. Pretty. I want to try getting like a slapsticky tone in. So like there'll be like squash and stretch with hit effects, over the top hit effects, and yeah. Oh. So for the stages, yeah, it's linear, but like it's gonna be like they're gonna be like vast state, like big stages with like a singular theme keeping them together, like I don't know, like a icy mushroom biome or whatever. And there'll be like checkpoints that double as fast travel, so you can like go back. And why would you want to go back? Because there's going to be secrets hidden in these areas. Secrets with like random upgrades, health, permanent upgrades, and yeah. And because and what I mean, okay, it says loose, kind of Metro. No, it's not really Metroidvania because it's linear. Like if you just follow the path, you'll get to the end, no problem. And there's no like backtracking to get like a extra reward or actually no, there is, but it's not like gated by upgrades. But anyways, loose stage design because each character has different physics, precise platforming can't really like exist. So it's gonna be more like a hack and slash, honestly, or like a beat 'em up than more of like a Mario type platformer, especially with the tools that each character already has. Music and sound, I thought it's mostly up to whoever wants to make the sound effects and music, but I thought that compressed MIDI instrumentation has a lot of charm and like it's really cool. So think of something like Smash Bros. 64 or Kirby Superstar, where they have those nice compressed like brass, percussion, and all that, and create something memorable, which I think is quite important. And yeah, I know this was a little long, but thank you for listening. So yes, that'll be everything. Is there questions to be had?
Yeah, I have a question. So I heard Smash Bros. And platforming. Is this multiplayer or I'm confused? This game.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I might have made no. This is single player. I mentioned Smash Bros. Style combat, as in like there's 2 attack buttons and each has their own like directional attacks, like side special. No, not side special, but like up special, neutral special, like neutral jab, and all that.
How long do you think this game will be?
How long? We don't have a lot of time, and I think this is gonna be pretty short. It's gonna be like I'm thinking, depending on how things go, it's gonna be like 3 to 4 levels, or like yeah, and also like this might be like a year commitment thing. I'm not too sure yet on that. But yeah, Claire, there are 2 characters. No, there's not going to be an AI. You just choose at the beginning of the game, you choose between one or the other, and you stick with them through the rest of the game. The game's going to be pretty short, so it's mostly there for replay value and like different characters like you go through the same stages, but it's like a different experience because they have different strengths and weaknesses.
If you get some upgrades for a character and then like you finish the game with them, can you start the game again with that character and then you have all your power-ups?
New game plus would be pretty nice, but that's gonna be kind of low priority. Yeah, okay. I mentioned roguelite, and yeah, it's gonna be like for the most part you're just gonna start anew. Have you decided on a game engine? Well, the reason I'm picking is because I'm not a good programmer. I've programmed a prototype for this game, actually. It was on Game Maker 2, Studio 2, but I'm looking for a more proficient programmer. So game engine's going to be programmer's choice.
Almost like a Unity.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, let's move on to the next person. And Umair, are you ready now?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let me.
Saying that correctly? Saying your name correctly?
Yeah, you did try. Okay. Can you guys see the screen or no?
I don't think you're streaming yet. Okay, we can
see. Do you see the slider screen or the? Because I can't see my screen here.
I see. It's not a presentation screen. It's editing screen.
It says in the
Okay,
title
yeah.
at the top.
Okay, I'll do it like this then. Hold up. Sorry about that. It's never streamed on Discord.
No worries. Take your time.
Okay, can you see it now? An empty box.
We're looking at the presenter screen.
Okay, how about now?
Okay, that looks good.
Alright. So, hello everyone, my name is Omer, and I go by Stormblast in this Discord. So, my game is called The Assassin in White, and it is based upon a book series called The Stormlight Archives, which is written by Brandon Sanderson. And in that book series, there is a specific magic system that I really liked, and that was called Surge Binding. And there are some characters called the Windrunners who have the ability to change gravity. So they can basically change the gravitational pull that is being acting upon them. So they can turn the ceiling to the floor and fall towards the ceiling or the wall, or just change into any direction. Or they can put that energy into an enemy or an object and change that gravitation pull that is acting upon them to a different direction. So I made this little animation that shows okay, it's a bit fast, but it's basically showing how it can change the direction of the object or the character himself, and they can basically fly up or fall up, and also do the same thing with the objects in front of them or the enemy. And I want to take that idea and turn it into a 3D version. And for that, the story, I also got a bit inspired from the story of the book series itself, is that the assassin, which are going to be us, we are the bad guys, and we're tasked to kill the king. So we go on a mission and use our abilities to defeat the enemies, overcome puzzles and obstacles, and then face off the king at the end. So this seems like a big story, but I'm aiming to make it just short, like a few levels at most, because most of the story, or my idea, is to put into the programming part. For the art and soundtrack, I'm hoping to make it a 3D medieval setting, and I've bought a few assets, a castle builder and a few more fantasy world builders, along with the soundtrack that is also available, and also a few other sound effects. But the castle builder is not something I've used before. It is a bunch of assets that are combined together to build a castle. So that is where I would like to have an artist to have a mind who knows who has a visual of how things are placed. And yeah, basically that is my game. That is my idea for the game. Or any questions?
You happen to like have any idea, of like what kind of, because you have that certain unique like direction control involving the player, and like when you incorporate that into a 3D environment, have you like thought of any like like obstacles?
Yeah, so basically, for the programming side, we'll have to, instead of using a rigid body, we'll have to code the gravity ourselves. And to change that, basically, we can change the direction the force is pulling us. So that is what my idea was.
I'm sorry, what was the gameplay of the game again?
Sorry, say it again?
What is the gameplay style?
Gameplay
I missed that.
Yes, gameplay is a 3D environment where we go through a castle, basically, defeat a bunch of enemies, overcome a few puzzles, and at the end face off against the king himself. And we use the abilities, which are changing the gravitational directions of ourselves or the objects. And also, I think I missed putting it in the slide, but the abilities are limited, so as long as we are charged, so we'll have to pick up something like an orb or something that will grant us the ability to use those powers, and once we run out of them, we cannot use them, and we'll have to rely upon basic dueling things like swords.
We have a couple of questions in general. If you want, I could read them out for you.
Yeah, sure.
They're asking which gaming engine are you planning on using?
Unity. Most of my assets are for Unity, so I was hoping that will work the most.
Okay, cool. And they're also asking which members do you need? Do you need artists, programmers? What will you need on your team?
I'm looking for an artist, and I'm also more programmers would be helpful as well, especially in the AI part for the enemy AI. And if a writer is available to add some more twist to the game and add some new features, that will be welcome as well.
And they're also asking, like, in which perspective will the game take place? If it's in a 3D world, would it be like 2D,
yes, it is 3D. Sorry?
So will it be first person, third person?
Yes, more like a third person. Third person is where you see behind the player, right?
Yeah, like in GTA.
Yeah, that's the style I'm going for.
When you're controlling like the players, like gravity, do they have to be like near a wall to like change the floor to it, or can they do it like wherever?
No, it's just the direction based. So let's say they're standing outside and they change the gravity to the sky. They basically fall towards the sky, so they can fly that way.
Oh, okay. So it's just like anywhere they can just change it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that uses up energy, so if you fly too high and the energy runs out and you fall down, you basically die.
Okay. Thank you. Let's move on. That was Assassins in White. Now let's move on to the next presenter. Ruari? Am I saying that correctly? Are you here? Reckoner? can you turn on your mic?
Do we have Ryrie Delahunt on the call, perhaps?
I see him in the call. Reckoner? Maybe you should skip.
Yeah, we could go to next, and
Okay,
I'll
one
You-
sec.
message him.
I just messaged him.
Thank you.
Oh, did he just leave? Did he say something?
Yeah, I messaged him and he replied.
I joined on my computer and I wasn't. You guys couldn't hear me.
Okay.
Okay. Are you good now?
Well, you can hear me here, but I don't know how to share my presentation. Let me see if I can share on my. I'm sorry, guys.
So your mic is not working on your computer?
Yes, I'm just using. Just give me 1 sec, and should I start with the presentation?
Yeah, or we can switch the order if you would like.
Let me just see if I can share my.
It's also possible to share your phone screen.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm just seeing if I can. Yeah. Can I go next? Sorry, I'm really sorry. I had tutoring until now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Then let's do. Let's see. Avery.
Sure. Is my mic working?
Yes, we could hear you.
All right, well, I guess I'll share now. Is it showing full screen?
Yep.
All right, cool. Sorry. Okay, so this is my game. It's called Draw. It's a game I've had in the works for quite a while. And yeah, my name is Avery. This is my game called Draw. It's a game I had in the works for quite a while. I'm really excited to show you guys. So basically, there are a lot of different inspirations for these games, but a lot of it was these two, and they're pretty different. But what they had in common, I realized, is that they have basically a simple medium but meaningful story. Like one seems like a dating simulator, the other one just seems like an RPG, but they both tell really, really meaningful stories that stuck with their players. So I was kind of hoping to recreate that. And one thing that kind of struck me was basically stick figure games. You might recognize a couple of these. The left one is from Fun Brand. The other two are like stick figure fighting games that you might recognize, but they also kind of reminded me of like the stick figure doodles you'd see a kid drawing during class. So that's the story I was kind of hoping to write off. So here it is. The story basically is basically like an artistic journey of like grief and acceptance through a high schooler's stick figure duels, telling his story. And basically, as seen here, you play as a stick figure representation of this kid Nathan, the blue one, his recently deceased high school best friend, existing in the form of his class duels. And these duels basically tell like an artistic representational story of Nathan's like mental decline and eventual like acceptance and recovery after his friend's passing. Different characters in the story like represent different people in his life, like his best friends Claire and Mike, as seen in the red and blue characters here, the Stickman, his best friend, and himself. So, the art I wanted to do for this one, basically hand-drawn cartoon art that I'm familiar with, like the sprites and also just hand-drawn backgrounds, the pencil texture. There's also going to be photograph backgrounds in the cutscenes, but I'll get to those later. My main inspiration for this game came from this game. It's a Wii game from 2009 where you can basically draw into the game to solve different puzzles, and I'll play a short clip of it here where you can kind of see what I'm going for.
Anything in a world you bring to life. On-screen puzzles let you draw right into the game.
So basically, that's the type of thing I was hoping to go for. So here's kind of an example of the environment I was hoping to make for the game. Basically, similar like the boxes, they get to draw into the game to avoid different obstacles and progress. So probably needs like, I'm not very familiar with coding, so pardon my language, but limited like editable terrain, like object physics, like different like swing physics, and also like the usual like stuff that might come with like a 2D side scroll, like player movement, like gravity, like running, Also the character animation that comes with that, like sound effects, I'll explain later, and also like AI navigation, I guess, for like the enemies, like those scribbles you see there. Level, and here, with all those elements combined, you get something that looks like this. And also level progression is probably going to be following left to right camera. It's a continuous world with like save points and like transitions in between. And also just like plain backgrounds or like the detailed ones as you saw in the beginning with that cityscape. The sound effects I kind of wanted to emulate like sounds like paper, like drawing, like writing on paper, paper turning pages, etc. But make them like really cartoony, exaggerated. And the music I was kind of going for is like warm, light piano music to kind of fit the upbeat, like simple nature of like a usual stick figure game, with like occasional like slower emotional moments to allude to the more deeper, like I guess darker story going on behind the scenes. So the best example I could find was like Animal Crossing music, like piano. And here's a short example. And there we go for the music. All right, there we go. And also, as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be NPCs. They're basically, as I mentioned earlier, Nathan's, like, the stick figure representation of Nathan's friends. When you meet them, you get to talk with them with dialogue, and also they get to follow you around and help you with different puzzles, as seen on the right. And also, I wanted to include real-life cutscenes that basically, like, they're basically in between the different, like, levels, and they basically, like, give some context to the player about the real life going on behind the scenes for Nathan and his friends. With voice acting, and there's not really anything like visual besides the dialogue, so they really heavily rely on audio, like voice acting, sound effects, etc. So here's some examples of like screen caps from them. And as for the story, so far, like there's the stick figure world, the more upbeat, bright, simple one, and the real life world, like of Nathan's actual like story of dealing with the grief of his best friend. But later into the game, I was hoping to slowly combine those two worlds to give the player more information of what's really going on. And this is represented through basically, as Nathan's like mental state declines, so does his art quality, and so does the art quality of this world. As you can kind of see, the background start to fall apart, and the levels start to get more dangerous. You have to loot more of these scribble things, and it basically represents like a self-sabotage and eventual like erasure of his friends from his life, both like in this world and also just cutting himself off in the real life. And it eventually starts to come to a peak where he nearly completely erases this world through like his self-destructive mental state. But with the help of the player is able to pull Nathan out of that spiral and set him on the path to recovery. So, thank you for watching, and that was the game I was hoping to come to life. Really glad I got to show you guys. Any questions?
In regards to gameplay or storytelling wise, is there gonna be like a one set ending, or maybe do you have an idea for maybe alternative endings, since your inspirations were Undertale and Doki Doki, right? And stuff. Those games happen to have like, alternative endings. Was that something you played with the idea with?
Actually, I haven't considered it yet. I guess I've kind of only played with that one ending, but it is an interesting idea to play around with.
Alright, coolio.
Oh yeah, for people I'm looking in the general chat. I'm only an artist myself. I don't really know much about programming, so I'm probably looking for programmers, maybe some sound designers, maybe some like writers too to kind of help me out with writing the story for this and stuff, additional artists. And the game engine, I guess it'd be Unity. I'm not really too familiar with coding, so I guess I have to research into that. Any other questions? Let's all right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a great presentation. Let's move on to the next person. And Ruari? Am I saying that correctly? Are you ready now? I see you unmuted, but if you want, I could stream your presentation if you send it to me. And you could ask me to press on the next slide. And you could talk from your phone.
Hear me now? Sorry.
You can't hear.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I could hear you now.
Okay, yeah, I'll just send it to you. I'm really sorry about that. What's your email that I can just share it with you?
You could just send me the link through my
Okay.
Discord.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right. And then what's your username? Sorry.
Claratonin. You could click on my name and it'll show you.
Are you the president? I'm sorry. Here. Let me know if that works.
Can you make the link viewable? I don't have access to it. Do you need someone? Do you need it to be SJSU email? No.
I don't think it needs to be an SJSU email. I hit the get link.
You need to set the link so it's like anyone with the link can view.
Okay. I don't know if it's letting me though, just because it's like through the school account. Does that make sense?
It should be fine.
Okay, because when I hit share and then like go down to the get link, it just lets me copy it and that's it.
I'll send you my email.
Sure.
You could add my email to the Google Doc.
I'll do that. I'm sorry for all the stuff. I've just been trying to get this game out there for a little bit.
It's fine.
Okay, great. You get it?
Yeah, I could see it now.
Okay, great. If you could share your screen. And then yeah. Let me know when you're on the first slide because I can't see it.
Can everyone see? Does it say Noor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's ready.
Okay, so this is my game. It's called Noir. We'll see how this goes. I've been working on this for a little bit of time now, but most of the stuff is just kind of prototypes I threw together over the summer. So yeah, you can go to the next slide. So is it up there? Sorry.
Yeah, it's concept.
So concept. So basically, I'm looking to make a first-person shooter. Currently, there are ideas for something kind of 90s based. The main reason for this is just because it's more simple to make, especially in terms of art style. You can do this thing that I like to do where you just take higher quality models that are free and then you can convert them to lower ones and then retexture them with lower quality textures to get that kind of PS1 look. These are just some kind of concept art that my friend drew up for the game, but it's this can all subject to change. So yeah, you can go to the next slide. And then for the inspiration for this game, so these two screenshots are from Quake and Unreal, two really old kind of first-person shooters. But as you can see, the geometry and level design is pretty simple, which I think would really help with making, just making levels faster, basically. Okay, you can go to the next one. These two slides are from this game called LSD Dream Emulator. I saw it once, and I was like, this is one of the weirdest kind of art styles I've ever seen. Because it's almost vaporwavy, and I kind of like it. So this is just kind of another art style thing. You can go to the next slide. So on this slide, I took kind of two GIFs of what I had made kind of more recently, or a little bit of time ago. The top GIF just kind of shows what I was doing in terms of trying to. That was a PS1 shader. Now I've kind of gone with just lowering the resolution scale, but whatever. On the bottom, you can see the bunny hopping, which is the same as in Quake 3, basically. I took a Quake 3 script and then changed it around a little bit to the way I liked it. There's also a shooting system in the game with pickupable ammo and then some sort of basic health systems you can see with the crate there, but I definitely need to work on AI. So, yeah. You can just go to the next slide. So the main development areas that I'd like to focus on are definitely mechanics, story, and level design. I just break it down into this because this is kind of the stuff that helps me keep on track. But the mechanics are definitely the most important thing. I definitely want to make better AI and then kind of a quest system, and then finally just kind of like a feature you could pick up and drop the weapons. So for the story, like I really don't know 100%, but right now I'm kind of thinking of like a post-apocalyptic setting just to kind of get it more, you can have less people in the levels, but not like super Fallout-y, kind of like more vibrant post-apocalyptic. And then for the level design, I'm thinking of doing like kind of wider open level design just because you can move so fast with Quake movement, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I have a design doc, but I basically went over everything here, so I think I'm basically done. Thank you for whoever was presenting that for me.
All right, any questions?
So you said this game is an LSD. Well, I think Raj posted LSD fueled post-apocalyptic world.
No. The LSD fuels. Sorry, that's just a game that I like. I don't know if you guys. It's just like a really weird Japanese thing from the 90s that I like because of the art style. I would never play it, but yeah. Basically, I'm just thinking of like, yeah, like. By the way, whoever put that Mrs. thing, I love his channel. So yeah, but yeah, like kind of similar to that. For terms of team members, I'm literally looking for anything. I've worked so long alone on stuff, so if anyone wants to help, I don't care if you're a beginner or anything, just like let me know. I've done a lot of Unity stuff before, and I know how to use GitHub and all that stuff. So if you need help with anything, you can let me know. But yeah, thanks, guys.
What do you have in mind for the combat of the game? Because you mentioned like classic titles like Quake and such, right? So are you looking to either add on that or to emulate sort of an old style arena style shooter?
Yeah, I do like the way like arena styles play and feel. I really like the fast paced movement. Although, it's really, I would be down to change anything in the game right now. Right now, it's really simple to do kind of Quake shooting because it's basically all, it's just hit scan stuff and, it's not as many like reloading and stuff like that. But anyone who wanted to work on this had any sort of ideas, like I'd be down to hear any of them.
If you like psychedelic graphics, I would recommend looking at the game Cruelty Squad.
All right, I'll check it out.
It's a game that's absolute bonkers.
Yeah.
It's intentionally designed to be ugly.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. What if you guys like this? Just let me know. Like you can DM me or whatever. Yeah, just let me know. I have like a GitHub already set up for it, so if you want to download what I have already, you can let me know. But yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I think I agree with Nate. I think it'd be good to see what you had in mind for the gameplay. Like, what is the player gonna experience as they play this?
Sure. Yeah.
That can tie into the story as well. What the themes of this game will be.
Yeah, definitely. For me, like that stuff is all the super fun stuff. So I do all the mechanics first, just because I hate it. Like level design and story and stuff to me is like that's the best part of game development. So basically, all the stuff I focus on so far has basically just been like getting a basic shooting system in place. You can the thing is that like you can tweak all this stuff really easily. So like if anyone had any ideas on sort of gameplay, stuff like that. Right now, it's basically just taking the Quake formula but kind of making it more like, I don't know if you guys know what Serious Sam is, but they have really open levels in that. So I'm thinking of more open level design too, just because like if you learn how to bunny hop and stuff, you can move around so fast with Quake movement. So I always like rewarding a lot of skill for players. Like I think getting better should just be something that they want to do. So I like having a little bit of a difficulty curve, and a lot of those old 90s games were definitely hard. So yeah.
All right. And I think also it'd be good to add what your development timeline will be. Like, what do you want to achieve?
Okay, yeah, I can kind of get into that now. Basically, what I'd want to achieve by, like, say if we had a set deadline of like, this, like the end of the semester, it would be definitely like I want to get the mechanics basically done, and then I want to have a complete one level done, like just done. Because once you get one level done, you can start building other ones. I want to get one that's just like done, quests in, side quests in, everything done.
All right. Thank you for the presentations, Petrus. So now we're going to move on to the next portion of the meeting, which are breakout rooms. So what we're going to do in these breakout rooms, each pitcher is going to go to their according breakout rooms, and the members will join the breakout rooms and ask questions to the pitcher. So you could introduce yourself, talk about how flexible their idea is, ask them to elaborate on something, ask them what...
Someone, I think Pitch has a pitch.
I signed up the pitch. I think I hit. I don't know. Did I submit it? Did you guys get another one? Or because I remember going to the Google Forms and typing out my information. I don't know if I submitted it or not, but like, I have a presentation. I'm sorry if I didn't submit it or not. I mean, I was going to. I'm sorry.
Oh, it doesn't seem like you submitted it, but if you have it ready, we could do one right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good, dude. Like, don't worry about it.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready. Give me a second. Here. You see this?
Yes.
Okay, can you see this?
Alphabet Olympics. Interesting.
Okay, I'll send you the design document later then. Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Dylan Huang. I'm a major in computer science. I'm a 25 grad, and I'm doing this pitch called Alphabet Olympics. It's an idea I've been having for a couple months now. Basically, I try to pitch a smaller idea with small scope idea with bigger potentials. So start with something small and make it and expand it to something big. It's an endless running platform based on multitasking with the keyboard. So I think if you've played mobile games before, like Jetpack Joyride or like Subway Surfers, you've heard of endless runner games where you try to go as far as possible, and if you hit an obstacle, you die, you have to restart. This is the same thing, but with a keyboard. So players will use reaction time to press keys spread across their keyboard to avoid obstacles. And you'll see what I mean when I talk about the keyboard. It's kind of inspired by this game I found, Alphabet, by Keita Takahashi, who's the creator of Katamari Damacy. Here's some footage of the game right now. This is made for a charity, so it's a very small idea. Basically, you have all these different characters, and each button is that character's on the keyboard. So when you press F, the character labeled F will jump. This is a good idea, and I think this has a lot of potential, but I think there's some problems with it right now. First off, they're all on the same screen, which I don't like. I like the idea of multitasking more, and I don't like the idea that they're all turned into the same character here when it comes to like turning them all into F, which I think defeats the point of having so many characters on screen. And as for this is more about like racing rather than survival, like endless runners. So here's my idea of how I would do this game. Say you have one character, X, and you press X to jump, and you have to jump over hurdles because they're at the Olympics. And that's fine. That's like a basic, endless runner doing in a mobile game. That's fine. But now you have P and X, and now P has more obstacles than X. So now you have to jump over more obstacles of P while also focusing on jumping over obstacles of X. And if you hit a single one, then the game's over. But now there's a T, and T has to do a long jump, and that means you have to hold down T while jumping over hurdles of X and jumping over hurdles of P. So now it's about playing 3 different endless runner games at the same time, and you have to keep equal attention to each of the 3. And as more and more are added, you have to split divide your attention between so many different characters, etc., etc. You get my point, hopefully. And I don't even have to mention to you that this is already a very, very awkward control scheme. It's not usually a WASD control scheme. You have to use 2 hands, and if the keyboard's small enough, you have to use different fingers. It gets really awkward, and as each game is randomly generated when it comes to the keys, you have to find out new and newer ways to find control schemes to press stuff on your keyboard. As for development, I think this idea will be very small. I tried to think of everything each department can do when it comes to game development. For animation, you have to animate 26 letters running, jumping, and hitting hurdles, which sounds like a lot, but if you stick with a simplistic art style, just give them letters and just have them be letters with little legs that run, you can recycle animations and hopefully get things done a lot quicker. As for art, all you have to do is draw the hurdles, the long jump, and the background, which I imagine will be this Olympic kind of like track and field kind of thing. I'm sure there's more, but this is all I can think of right now. If you can tell me more, I'd like to know. As for programming, you have to randomize letters for each game and how often obstacles spawn, and you also have to create a physics system when it comes to how long do the letters stay in the air, how easy should we make the game, how hard should we make the game, et cetera, stuff like that. And for sound design, you have to make some sound effects when it comes to some hops, some footsteps. I prefer if you have music. If you have musical experience, please let me know. And I'm sure there's more to all of this. I'm sure this is not all we have to do. We'll find more problems as we run in with the development cycle. But as of now, I think even if we get more problems, this is a very simple game that you can start and finish in a semester. And it's a simple idea that I think can be created, polished, and packaged in a semester. But I think there's more you can do with it because it's not just an endless runner. You can add way more stuff in this. Imagine multiplayer or like endurance races or like if you play Tetris 99, like a battle royale kind of thing where people collect power-ups to kind of screw over other players on other tracks and fields. Like maybe you get to drop in a hurdle or you drop in a long jump or you make them, like mess with them, Imagine 4 different players in the same room playing on the same keyboard because they all get different letters and they all press different buttons on the same keyboard. It'd be so chaotic. What about uppercase letters? I haven't even mentioned that. What if you have to hold down shift to press certain letters and have to release shift to press other letters? Or pressing caps lock to toggle in between, capital A or lowercase a? What if you have letters change into other letters halfway through the race? What if because after you play the game for a while, I'm sure you'll get used to the weird control scheme. But what if you change the control scheme? What do you have to move your hands throughout the keyboard to keep playing the game? And I haven't even thought of the idea of, like a custom level editor with like music, like Geometry Dash or like Muse Dash or Guitar Hero. Imagine making different courses with different songs that you have to play throughout each level, but you don't know where the buttons are. It's like Guitar Hero, but you have to find the buttons on your keyboard. And I think that adds a whole new level of challenge to it. It doesn't even have to be about hurdles. I just like the idea of trying to find different ways to make new control schemes on your keyboard. So if you have an idea that's not even related to the Olympics or hurdles or long jumps, please let me know and I'll be happy to take it in a new direction if I like it. So in conclusion, I'm sure some of you think this is a very simplistic or maybe even a childish idea, but I'll give you 3 reasons why I think this idea is a great idea. 1, it's focused. I don't like games that are too vague or like you don't know where you're going and it might take a very, very long time, much longer than a semester to finish. I like this game because it has a beginning, middle, and end. We know what we want to do. And if we get started on that, we can get it finished very, very quickly and do more of it afterwards. 2, it's accessible. I think anyone who's ever used a keyboard should be able to play this game. You could probably describe it to your parents or like show it up at a family party and people will be able to play it in 5 minutes, even if they've never played a video game before. I think it's that widespread, just being able to press buttons on your keyboard because, well, I think anyone can understand it. It's very easy to understand. And lastly, it's fun. I think it's a fun idea. You can bring it at parties, you can bring it at gatherings and just have a blast with it, I'm sure you can get so many different people on multiplayer. I'm sure it could be very, very chaotic and very competitive if you want to get really into it. And I think it's a very widespread, fun idea. Thank you. That's my presentation. And if you want to see the document, you can go to this link and find out more about it. Thank you.
Well, I can do a couple questions.
Yeah, I have something to say. I would say nice presentation, and you don't have to consider you don't have to think your game is childishly simple. I think it's good to have a focused game, especially when we're multitasking with different jobs and schools. Yeah, I think I like how thought out the pitch is, and because you were so focused on this idea of multitasking and in control schemes, which I thought was really interesting as well, and the endless runner, I was curious on what you find interesting about those ideas. Like, why are you creating a game with these experiences or these challenges?
Interesting about it?
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I like party games in general. I like Jackbox. I like there are some multiplayer games that I really like. I just like the idea of having so many people, different people, try to figure out what's going on, like not being able to do even like the most basic of things, like jumping. So I think having to work your way up from there is a very fun idea. Okay. Cool. Any other questions?
Yeah. I think we have to move on. Let me stream my screen. Okay. So thank you, pitchers. So now we're going to do the breakout room session where you can ask, like I said, whatever questions you want to the pitcher. And this is a time where you get to know who, like, if you want to work with that person, even personality-wise. But there is also, since there's about 40-something people in this room right now, it's good to have about a team of 5 people. So we have an extra room where you can come up with your own idea and discuss with a random idea generator. So it's getting a little late. Officers, do you think we should have 40 minutes right now? Or 30 minutes session?
40 minutes does seem a bit long. Maybe we should do 30 minutes?
Okay. So you have 30 minutes to move around the breakout rooms and get to know whatever pitch you want to get to know. And these are going to be the rooms. If you see below this section right here, you'll be able to see there's breakout rooms. So do it again is going to be one. Wait, before we go on, is there any pitchers who changed their mind about their pitch and would like to join another pitch? Okay. So these are the according rooms. So for the next 30 minutes, you're free to go. So pitchers, it would be good if you can join the room right now. And I'll be here and I'll have a timer up and running and I'll update you guys.
Wait, sorry, which ones are which? Which room is which? How do we know which one to go to?
1 is do it again. 2 is project castration. It's on the slide right now. 3 is assassin and white. 4 is noir.
Okay.
5 is draw.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys join any team you're interested on. Any game that caught your eye, make sure to enter and chat to the pitcher to see where you can take these amazing games.
I'll hop in. I'll hop into rooms and see how the pitching process and stuff is going with everybody.
Well, what I'm thinking for the sort of like the Hello. So what I was thinking for the sort of like the loop mechanic, I'm not set dead on it right now, but right now it's more of like some element of progress or like some movement, and then it resets, and then the system would log what path you went on or something. Like it would record your inputs, and then if you don't do those inputs again, like you've strayed from your time stream, something like that, right?
Oh, okay.
So I mean, there's a lot of ways we could go about that, right? To make it more accessible or less repetitive. Stuff like I was thinking of like having tiles that assist movement or something, or other actions the player can do.
So does that mean that like the actions of like one loop can change the path that they took in that loop so that the second loop would be different?
I was thinking, obviously, you could put some potential puzzle elements where there's objects that are unaffected by time. So maybe in one loop, they're further along, but then maybe you could pass them or something, and then they'll be consistent throughout the loop.
I guess my art kind of does lean towards like a little bit more like graphic designy, or at least very simple looking stuff, which I guess is kind of desired for the UI.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Julius.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
So yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not professional either, so it's fine.
Alright, I worked on another game over the summer, GDW.
Mhm.
It's sort of in a similar vein. At least it's like 2D.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have some experience designing 2D games.
All right. I mean, yeah, I don't like. I'm not gonna force you to like send your resume or whatever, but that's nice. Like, yeah, it's good to have at least a little bit of knowledge and experience. On everything. Yeah. And yeah. Actually, you know what? I should send you guys the prototype that I've made. Cause like, yeah.
Sure.
It's like programming wise, there's not much you take from it, but like it's like a similar idea, but it's also kind of different. Like I'm revamping a lot of the things that I may have set in stone earlier. Hello everyone! Holy crap!
Well, someone got popular.
Yeah. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll.
Alright. I'm gonna check out the other rooms.
Alrighty.
Checking out the
You
other
go
rooms
do
as
that.
well.
Yep.
Altus.
Hello.
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 You can hear me, right? Oh, you guys can't access it.
You should stream your screen if you can.
Okay.
It's not letting me access the Google Doc, but it's probably because my
yeah.
Google Chrome refuses to let me log into let me use the school email to get it. So.
I don't think you need school email. I was trying to make it anyone with a link can join.
Don't want your email being shown.
Okay, no. Oops.
It could just be the share settings.
Yeah, I see what's the issue. I'll wait for the... But here's basically the document. So I'm going for a 3D third-person environment, and I did buy a few assets off of Unity that will allow us to build a castle, build a fantasy environment. But I was looking for someone with an eye to see how it would look, even if they can draw it on paper and like concept art maybe. That would be cool. Let me see if I can find my assets somewhere. I'm gonna put this on a different dock in case it's being live streamed.
I can close the thing for a while if you're concerned about it being streamed.
No, I'm doing it in a different window, it's fine.
Okay, alright, just making sure. I'll be right back.
You know, you can make them in 20 minutes versus 3 hours.
Hello.
Hmm?
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I'm on my phone. I can't see who's talking, so I'm sorry.
It's a wild Greek man.
Okay, yeah.
It's the random Greek guy who works in this club.
All right. So, any of you guys have any other questions?
Sorry, I
so-
just joined. Can you go over your game again?
Yeah, so basically I'm trying to make like a Quake style shooter from the 90s. Just aesthetically, I want to make it a little bit more bright, maybe more vaporwavy, maybe more psychedelic. And then I also want to have, just kind of more open-ended levels. And I think having like a couple little quests in them, like say go kill the side boss or whatever, would be kind of fun, populate the levels a little more.
So your game is something akin to like Doom, like old.
Yeah. More like old Quake, because you can't look up and down in Doom, but yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And is it 2D or 3D?
3D.
What do you have in mind for the combat loop? Is it going to be essentially very familiar to old styles arena shooters, or are you going to be trying to put your own twist to the?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the only thing I did so far that differed was the reloading system, but I won't really get into that. So far, I've basically just been trying to clone Quake's gameplay loop just to get a base gameplay loop. But I think like once you get that down, it'd be really cool to like be like, oh, maybe we could change it by adding this or this or this. But right now, it's more just focused on getting like a basic shooting enemy system in place so you can build that game loop and fine tune it.
All right. Are you open to suggestions in regards to the either gameplay loop or potential like combat or whatever?
Yeah, you're good.
Your pitch actually caught my attention actually because I too also worked on a FPS shooter during a summer workshop that already passed a while back.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. And me and my team also tried to add on to the whole arena style combat as well too. And what helped us try to make it essentially like special, right, in our own way, or what we try to make it unique about it is we pretty much played with the guns and perks because my friend was really interested in perk system ideas. His game inspiration was like say Destiny 2, right? But then my game inspiration was essentially like Doom Eternal, Quake, and whatever. Stuff, right? So we kind of mishmash between the two and stuff. So the weapons was pretty much our love child essentially, right? And stuff.
Yeah.
So we
Well, that was something me like I don't know if you saw the concept art, but my friend kind of came up with some kind of unique weapon designs, but that's something that I'm not a good enough artist to realize. But like,
what is? So I see the story as your, the story is very interesting. So you have you're playing as a deceased friend through the doodles. So what is the player doing? I guess as they play. I mean, are they trying to help Nick go or help this dead friend go somewhere or do something? Like, what are they doing?
Oh, so you're basically you're playing as the dead friend, and like you're basically like the end mission is to kind of like basically help him in the end. Like I guess like his involvement in like the story isn't like really too evident at first because it just kind of appears just like a regular stick figure like 2D like drawing game. I guess further into the story, the main goal is to just kind of help the friend. Not the dead friend, the guy who is the friend with the dead friend, just kind of like cope with it and just move on and recover.
But if you're controlling, or if you control the character, are you controlling the character rather than helping them? You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I'm confused. Could you elaborate?
So through the doodles, the story is through the doodles you are helping the dead friend.
Oh no, you're not helping the dead friend. You are the dead friend.
Okay, so then what is the player doing with the dead friend, drawing wise?
Basically, all these doodles are just basically like a projection of like the main guy, the blue guy. The blue guy is the artist. He's controlling the world, and his friend just died. So basically, like, it kind of seems like the dead friend's helping him, but it's kind of like, I guess he's kind of talking to himself in a way too, and just kind of like help him move on, recover.
Sure. Here's my idea that I'm thinking of right now. when it comes to how to make the game more difficult in an endless mode. So, I mean, you start off with one letter, and I'm sure you have, less obstacles, and I'm sure you add more letters and more obstacles, but eventually you reach a cap, right? I'm sure at some point you're not going to be able to manage like 26 different characters. So we'll cap it off at like 10 or 15, okay, something like that. So how do you make the game harder from there once you reach that cap, and once you have that many obstacles coming at you? Well, I think because the whole challenge of the game is trying to figure out the weird control scheme, and if you played the game long enough, you've gotten used to this control scheme by now. I think the challenge is to change the letters every few like distances. So every few distances, something will flash up on one screen that will let you know, hey, this letter is changing into another letter, and now you have to start playing with that. And as the letters change over time, soon you'll be playing with a completely different art style. As all the letters are changing. That's what I think right now. So it'll be like you have to move your hands constantly. The challenge is not necessarily like just jumping over the obstacles, it's also about adapting to the weird controls that you have. Oh, I've seen that game before. How? Pico Park. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I was thinking, what if you make like a collaboration where like each person is a letter and they can work together to like solve it?
Oh, okay. That's a good idea as well. Yeah. That would be more of a platformer though, which means that you have to make physics when it comes to like pushing blocks and like jumping on each other. That's not really an endless runner, which could be a different thing. Yeah, that could work. Okay, so it could be like a collaborative thing where but everyone is playing on the same keyboard and they're all playing like different characters. That could be an interesting idea. Do you guys like that idea, or is that too far from what you guys are imagining?
I think if everybody was on the same keyboard, like it would get very chaotic very quickly. Like you wouldn't really be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted though. I want it to be chaotic. That's the thing.
No, I don't mean just that though. I mean like you might literally be blocking like someone else's key with your hand, and then that you just win.
That's true. That's true.
Lend itself well to like online play, especially since like during the pandemic, that's people.
Oh yeah, sure. Online play. I mean, you can definitely do online play. It'll just be different from local play, which means that you won't be playing on the same keyboard. But I think it would be just as chaotic if you have, or it'll still be chaotic if you have different keys that you have to do. So I think just being in control of different characters at once and having to manage all of them at once on different screens is chaotic enough. So we don't have to do the local thing. It's fine. Any other ideas or general comments? Okay. Are there any? Okay. Who here is a programmer? I just want to I don't know, get like a show of hands or something.
Yeah, so I got a comment for that.
Yeah.
I'll say that, Hitch, your presentation was succinct and really professional. It basically made me immediately want to sign up for your project. Did anyone else get the vibe? After
Thank you.
when it came to Hitch's turn, it went from really chill vibe with other people's presentations, and all of a sudden you came on, and all of a sudden it just sounded very direct and professional.
Well, thank you very much,
really good job with the presentation.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah. I am, I guess, mainly a programmer. It will depend on what game engine you were using, though, because I only have a Chromebook. If we use a game engine that works on other OSs, then I'll have to import code to someone else's engine or program. Other than that, I can offer basic art and writing. Yeah, I'd really love to work with you on this. I think as long as the scope of the game stays at the minimum level as you pitched, then I think we could get it done.
Make a few levels to get the basic gameplay loop down, I guess.
Yeah, huge gameplay loop. But it would be basically the first week or two, just probably making basic movement possible on a simple map, and then adding triggers and stuff to certain tiles, maybe adding a checkpoint system, right? Just being able to send the player back after a while, something like that. Just going through it, which I don't think each step sounds too hard. It's just getting it to all work together nicely, obviously.
Alright.
I don't know if anyone knows much about music. It shouldn't be hard to find royalty-free ones, songs or anything. Just little fun tunes that you won't get sick of after a while.
Wait, that's kind of depending on the setting though, right?
Yeah, maybe the sound changes a bit, or the tune changes the more you go back through time. Maybe it gets a little distorted.
Yeah.
Or it changes tempo or something.
Oh, that'd be cool. A little bit of static.
Or what if the song goes back to the start? So it always starts at the beginning of the thing, and then when you go back in time, you hear a little zzz, like to the music, and then it starts back at the again. Oh god,
it sounds really nice. Yeah.
that would be amusing. I should put that in the design doc for under music.
I don't have that much experience with what's it called?
Unity, Unreal, like, I mean, if you have a engine you're familiar with, just
I mean, I've done
it.
some Unity, but I haven't like actually completed a game. But I'm down to try helping on this.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. That's cool, man.
Hello, Greek man. How you doing?
Hello. I have just come to see your progress, how things are going.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah,
It seems like you guys are having good, important talks about the game and how you want to work them out.
I mean, yeah, just, talking to people helps ideas form. Yeah.
I understand. Well, I'm hearing good things all around, so keep it up.
What, you have any opinions or things you would like to see from a game like this? Like, if you were to play it, what would you want from it?
I don't know. I can't really think of anything yet.
So if you have a game that's a bit more repetitive, do you think you would want some element in there, like?
Well, I think if it was going to be repetitive, there should be an interesting twist to the repetition.
Yeah.
So to every repetition, maybe there's a new effect. I don't know. There's this YouTuber. I think you might know him. Danny? Is that his name?
Yeah, Danny.
Yeah, Danny.
I don't know that.
He's a YouTuber who does game dev stuff. He made a video about him making a game about rewinding stuff. So the whole gameplay loop was you need to rewind time to solve puzzles and stuff. So you go one way, you can't solve it unless you can rewind time. So I would think an interesting add an interesting mechanic or something to spice it up would be a really good idea if you want to have an interesting game.
Is it
gameplay repetition?
Rerun by Danny?
Rear End, yeah, I think so.
Rerun?
Rewind? It was, I don't remember, but it had this. Yeah, think of. Yeah, I would say if you want to do something like that, have an interesting mechanic, maybe some kind of. I don't know. I can't think of anything at the minute.
Okay, I see. Yeah, by hearing the pitch. So if it's a dungeon crawler, there's gonna be rooms, right? So maybe after you get to a certain checkpoint, you can unlock all the rooms you have visited to move freely without the need to rewind time. I don't know.
Yeah.
You turn on a reactor, and that unlocks a whole room for free movement to explore. That could be rewarding.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something I think would make sense. Like, I don't think people should be punished.
No, that doesn't sound very fun. A good well, I don't know how to say it. Yeah, an interesting, some kind of interesting mechanic would be a good idea. Like maybe each room has a different effect or something. Like maybe you go through one room, you go faster. You go through another one, time moves slower or whatever.
And would the game need to be like in a grid style or what?
I mean, it could be a bit more freeform than that, but I mean, the main point is that I mean, if it's a grid, it's a bit easier because it's more of like a input, right? Input memorization, right? So if you bring angles into that, it gets a lot harder, right? And that's why it's more, I'm thinking of like a top-down platformer. If it's like grid-based, then you could at least get a good visualize.
Are you thinking more like the first Zelda game kind of style? Like, you know how everything was top down and you could see the entire room and every room and it was a grid map. Are you thinking kind of like that?
You could even do it like in Fall Guys, where it's third person and there are like hexagons on the ground. If you step on the hexagons, they break. Something like that.
I mean, if you saw the slide I did, like you see is more of like a 2D thing, but like even something like if you look at Helltaker,
I have not seen Helltaker.
Like it's very clear on, you know, like traps and other parts of the movement, right?
Oh, this is Helltaker. Okay.
It could be a bit more clear on what tile is each tile, but
okay, interesting.
And like obviously they have their little restart button, which for me would be something more of like going to a checkpoint, right?
Interesting.
And like you would be able to see like traps on the floor or other pieces of terrain or items to go to. Yeah, I mean I've seen Hexagon on Fall Guys, but I feel like it's a bit different. Than like a hexagon indicates you have like 6 directions to go to, right? And it's not easy to emulate that on like a keyboard.
Yeah, I was thinking if your game is gonna be 2D, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was thinking 3D.
Well, this sounds like an interesting premise.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, it's going to start off simple with just, you know, getting a map and then getting a player that can move on the map. And, you know, and then after that, being able to register what the player is doing.
Would it be like a roguelike or a roguelite, where you reset every time you die or something, or do you save progress?
So I'm planning on having checkpoints and then like end of the level zone or something, right?
Multiple levels?
It could have levels if that's how you want to do like a story mode. It could just be full of tons of checkpoints where you could just go to any point back, right?
You know what? You could do RNG for this idea since everything is like squares and all that. You could actually do something with RNG and explore that. It's really fun.
Well, this It sounds like some good brainstorming going on.
I mean, what would be neato if there's like different like timelines, but
that could be
where the other world is like different, right? And so you travel between them to get back to yours.
Don't say other world. You're giving me Silent Hill vibes. Kidding.
Maybe there's a wall that's a few feet to the right in this other like timeline, right?
Well, maybe this might sound like a lot of extra work, but how about have each timeline, let's say you start off in a main timeline, but whatever action you perform in it will cause one other timeline to be affected by it.
Chain reactions is beyond me right now. Timelines are already complicated.
Well,
this is just like a food for thought.
That's why I said
this is literally food for thought.
Paradox, special relativity.
I think I'm gonna keep things simple within the first week or two of like literally just making a map that a player moves on, like, and then go on from there.
That sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna go check in with the officers. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
Meeting was just like ruined because something fudged up with like my my what's it called the microphone, the microphone just like bugged out, and I forget what the issue was, except it was just like privacy settings were working, were all right. I thought my settings on like the browser were fine, and that was just like not working. It was just like horrible for that just like first meeting, except somehow I got it fixed. But yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun thing doing Free Fire Online.
I believe it has been 30 minutes.
Raj, do you have the noise cancellation on?
I feel like after getting like the movement down, I don't know how that might take, but like if like from there, if you design a level or two, like that would be enough for the semester. And if you can get like a third or fourth one, that'll be even better.
That's true. I do, yeah, and I do have we do have like code and stuff that I can pull straight out of Game Maker version, and I feel like it should translate relatively well.
Moon, can I say something?
Oh yeah, sure.
I just gotta say, I appreciate the Mega Man Zero GIF.
Oh yeah.
I love Mega Man Zero.
Oh, sweet. Me too.
It's so fun. I have the Zero collection for my DS.
Oh. Do you have the recent Zero ZX Legacy collection?
What?
Wait, you didn't know that?
What is this? What?
It's Zero ZX Legacy collection. There's
Zero ZX.
all 4 Zero games. Yeah, all 4 Zero games, 2 ZX games on modern platforms. 30
Oh,
bucks.
I heard the ZX
Also,
games were not very good.
yeah, but like the Zero games have there's save assist in the Zero games.
What's
so
save
like
assist?
so it's like basically save state kinda, but like when you die, you come back with full health and it doesn't affect your mission score.
I heard
So it's
it was
actually like
very good. I mean,
It's
there's only one
very
game I'm
good.
really hyped for on the Switch right now.
Mm.
And
It makes Zero
it's
One playable.
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
Oh really?
Oh, dude, that game was the first Pokemon game I ever played.
Wait, it's out?
No, it's coming out next month.
Wait, so how can you? Oh, are you talking about the original version?
Yeah, no, the remake is coming out next month.
Yeah, but like, how could you have played the remake if you?
No,
didn't?
I haven't played the remake. I played the original.
Yeah. So you're talking about the original when it says it was your first Pokemon game.
Oh yeah, no, the original was my first Pokemon game. That when I was like 5, I think.
I see.
That game was my. I was either.
Time.
It is time.
It is
already.
time. Anyway,
Yeah.
no. Good meeting.
Good meeting. Yep.
Ah.
Okay, hello everyone. Hopefully you got to visit the groups you wanted to visit. And now, let me share my screen. Okay, so I don't think we're gonna have time for this today. Originally we wanted to sum up some key points, but it's getting pretty late, so let's get straight into the decision. It's going to be like 20-minute session, and you'll basically go into the room that the team that you want to join. And while you're doing that, you could exchange information and discuss some like other details. Maybe you could change your mind. That's still fine as well, but we might ask you to move around depending on your skill sets, because if you have only artists in your team, that would not be good for everyone. So please keep that in mind, and yeah. So as a reminder, these are the groups. It seemed like no one went to the random idea generator. And yeah, 20 minutes. Please join the room that you want to be a part of a team of.
Bam. Oh, who is this? Hello, Raph.
Hola, me llamo
Hello.
Raf. Mucho gusto. ¿Cómo te
You
va?
are- I had to turn up your volume. Hello.
Hello.
I see you
Spasiba.
all have. I see you all have decided to join the random idea generator.
Yeah. Yes.
I agree. I agree. This was. I feel. I
There's
wanna-
still time for an idea.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, well, let's do brainstorming. Like you
Okay.
said, right?
Okay. Here's a game idea. Right. You ready for a game idea?
Okay. Let's see.
Here, okay. No. Big brain idea. You ready for this?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, the game. Hear me out. Right. The game is all about you push one button. Oh, don't show that. We are live. I don't want to see. We don't want to see phone numbers.
Oh, we're live.
Emails, Discords. There we go. Okay. Okay. Here's the whole plan of the game. You ready for it? You push a button, right? Guess what the button says once you pushed it.
What does it say once you pushed it?
My name's Jeff.
Okay. I will invest in that, not gonna lie.
Best game ever. You in the
Game of
middle
the
of
year
class,
2021.
in the middle of like in one of James's class, you open up your PC or your Mac or whatever. You open it and you just click the button once. My name's Jeff. You know the bro button? We need to have a my name Jeff button. This is.
You instantly get an A.
This is
in the class, right?
Oh my brain hurts from this big brain idea. My brain hurts.
You're gonna carry your brain in a truck around.
Oh no, we need to carry. We need the
You need
whole like.
You need a whole crane to lift your brain.
We need
so you can walk.
we need Randy Savage to come and carry my brain around. God, my brain hurts from such a big brain idea.
For real, let's do some brainstorming. I like doing brainstorming.
Alright, well, I just came in here to meme, show some love for the random idea generator. I'm gonna go hop in the other rooms.
No, help make ideas. We're not gonna make like.
You know what? Fine. Let's make an idea.
We're just gonna make ideas for the fun of it.
Okay.
So
how about a hidden object?
Stars, mythology, switching roles.
Switching of roles.
What are you guys doing?
Is this like
I
a
wanted
Greek
to see what the random
mythology-
idea generator looked like.
This, I mean, just from these four, you could do like a mythological game of prop hunt.
Are you guys like trying to form a team right now?
No,
we're just memeing.
Oh.
Exercising the brain.
I actually need you guys to go in some of the rooms and balance the teams out.
Okay, I'm just gonna go.
Oh,
I'm gonna go
okay,
see
okay.
around the rooms. I'm just gonna go see how everybody's doing.
Hello.
I've come.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hello. I am.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just looking around in the rooms, seeing the work dynamic.
Oh, yeah, he was just asking how many people per group, and then I'm saying it's probably upper bound at 5-ish, depending on the project.
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, again, if you have a game that is just heavy art, right? You might want a lot of artists.
Yeah. That is very true.
I'm pretty sure.
Or a music game.
There
A lot
was.
of musicians.
Wasn't there a group that Hal worked with that was last semester that had like quite a few people in it?
I have
Red.
no idea.
It was Blood Ties.
Blood Ties. Oh, that had a lot of people in it.
Didn't it? I thought I remember their credits saying they had a lot.
I don't know, but you should ask Hal, since I am not sure of that.
Hello, Marco.
Yeah.
Do we?
What was that?
Do you have teammates?
I have one person in the room that has neither confirmed nor denied their participation.
I mean, I'm down. Wait, what you kind of doing for with regards to the game besides designing?
I'm just hopping around the room, seeing how everybody's doing. I'll see you guys in a sec.
Yeah, just officer stuff, you know.
I'm sorry?
Ah.
Command?
Command line.
Oh, what's that?
Programming. We can make it even simpler.
What?
Sorry, I'm just having some food.
Oh, okay, I see.
I didn't expect this meeting to go on for so long, but
Oh yeah, this is
probably the longest one.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is
a
probably
pretty
gonna be the
long
longest meeting, because this is a big
Mhm.
event.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Oh,
This is pretty
Julius,
long.
what brings
Hello.
you over to
I'm
our
just seeing what all you
checking
guys,
around?
how the brainstorming is going, how the team talk, you know.
And we're
Yeah.
thinking about like how to organize like the work.
Yeah, just want to see, you know, the dynamic, the group dynamic.
Oh right, I should probably upload. I should share in my the design doc that I wrote down. I have a more like I have like a ton more intricate design doc that I have to like finalize, but for now the overview doc should be fine.
Alright, well, I'm gonna
I'll
go
just
check on the other room. Seems like you guys are doing some good work here.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, hello.
How's the role planning going?
Well, so far we're all programmers.
No
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah.
No artists. No writers.
I think all the artists went to number 5 for some reason. Who's number 5 though?
Maybe they'll come back.
Really? It went to the draw game. Damn.
The draw game. Oh.
Draw.
Oh.
What was
You
your,
know, it makes
what
sense.
was your guys' game idea?
Yeah.
This was the assassin in white, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I first heard it, I thought, so is it like Assassin's Creed or what?
Well, the idea is mostly inspired from the Stormlight Archive series.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the first chapter, sort of.
Yeah.
So the assassin is the bad guy who has these powers.
Yeah.
And he goes on to kill. There's a huge build up to that, but basically he goes on to kill the king. And the biggest fight he has is with the king, who's a master duelist.
Okay.
And he has basically conquered the whole land.
So is this
My
game...
initial idea was to have a hero come at the end and fight us and actually beat us, because he's the hero and we're the bad guys, but I think that will be too hard to implement.
That's okay.
But if we can, it will be cool, maybe.
So what kind of game will this be? Is this like a platformer, open world?
No, this is a third-person 3D set in the medieval times.
Ah, I see. Okay, interesting. And any interesting mechanics? I remember you talked about gravity, I believe it was.
Yes, so the character has the ability to change the gravitational pull that is being acted upon him, so he can basically make the ceiling his floor,
So
make the walls his floor.
Invert gravity. Is that kind of
Inward? You
Kinda
could
like-
say it's inward, but it's any direction, basically.
So kind of like
See?
if the main character uses the magic power, they will go from being on the floor to being on the roof? Or the
On
ceiling?
the roof or any direction they intend to. They can basically do it to the end of like a tunnel. They can basically fall through that tunnel.
I see.
And use that momentum to beat the enemies or something.
Interesting.
And they can use that same energy to put that into something else, like a boulder, and throw that at the enemies too, or make the enemies fly up. The energy essentially runs out after a while if you use it too much. So if you're using it to like fly, and it runs out, you fall to the ground and you die.
Okay. Well, you said this character's an assassin, right? So
Yes.
if they are an assassin, is there any like stealth elements to the game?
Yeah, there is.
Okay. Because from what you were saying, like throwing boulders, I was thinking that doesn't sound very.
Well, there will come a time when you have to face the boss at the end.
Okay.
And that's where the main duel will take place.
Okay. All right. Well. Okay. Well, this sounds like a good plan. I'm gonna. Yeah. I like what you guys are doing here.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, good work. I'm gonna go check on the other groups. Keep up the good work.
Sure.
Ah.
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 Me llamo Jeffrey.
I am Jeff.
Me llamo Gustav.
My name Giorno Giovanna, and I have a dream.
My name is Giovanni Giorgio, but everyone calls me Giorgio.
Mudamudaman instantly plays JoJo Part 5 theme.
Have you heard that song?
Which one?
Daft Punk.
Which one? I can't play it because copyright. And we are live.
Daft Punk.
Don't play it. Don't play it. Don't play it. Don't play it.
No.
Okay,
it's
good.
called Giorgio.
Oh, Giorgio. Okay, I'll check it out later. Just send me a link.
No, but look at the memes though.
Okay, send me the memes. Send me the memes. Send me the memes. Send me meme. I crave the meme. I know SpongeBob. I need it. That's me. I need the meme. Send me the meme.
Here you go, son.
Okay, where is it in? Are you gonna DM it to me?
Yes.
I see Spider-Man and I'm tempted to because I see Spider-Man PS4 and I love that game. I can't because
on the GameCube.
I can't because of copyright. And we're live.
Such. After the stream, you can take a look.
I'm gonna go hop in the other rooms. I'll see you in a bit.
All right, brother.
If that makes sense, because
Starting point.
yeah. So let's say like let's say a walk cycle, right?
Yeah.
So normally when you do a walk cycle in like a regular animation, you make the character move. But to animate in like Unity, you can't make the character move. It's like walking in place, and then like the programming makes it walk. Does that make sense?
I think I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I get that now.
I think I actually do both types of program or both types of animation.
Well, I'll make sure to do my research before the next meeting.
Yeah, like because there's like skeleton-based animation and sprite-based animation.
I think sprite-based is more better. I don't know. Skeleton, when I tried it, it just broke and sucked.
Is it like rigging a 3D model or something, or like a skeleton?
Basically, I think that's yeah.
Here, if I could find like an example of what I animated with the bone, I'll show you.
Oh wait, were we in the same team, Christian, for that?
Wait, with Dog and Sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude, it was so
broken. Yeah, I remember that. That's like wait. I remember I was the programmer with a skeleton animation, and I was like, how does this work?
Yeah, bruh, I don't know. It was fun. I'm gonna try to find the link.
Alright. Also, just I have one question for you guys though. Like, I know I'm a first year. This is my first year at the club, but will you guys have like any tips for like video games, like running, like doing teams and stuff, and like making a game with a team? Like, do you guys have any tips or?
I would say that overscoping is your biggest nightmare. You don't want to be doing. You want to have like all these great ideas, and then like going like, I want to have like a game that's like 2 hours long, and then not able to beat it, and kind of have things fall through. Like I would just keep it small first, like small, if that makes sense, and then build from there.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, just speaking from my experience, because
Did you make the group Google Drive, or if you have like any updates on the mood board or
Okay.
production schedule, then let me know. But
Right.
no later.
See you. Hello, Greek. Yeah.
Ah.
It's about you.
A Greek man. Are you?
I am Greek.
Are you joining our team, Alphabet Olympics?
I'm just seeing how every team's coming along.
Oh, okay.
You kicking me out? Man, all right.
No. It's fine.
It's
It's
cool.
fine.
No, it's cool if you're kicking me out. Like, dang.
I'm not kicking you out.
I just
man.
came in
I'm
here
not
to see how
kicking
you
you
guys
out.
are doing. Fine. I guess I'm not appreciated in here. Fine, I'll leave. Where's the done streaming? I'm quitting this position. Someone else can have my job.
Sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, I will be leaving. It's quite late. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you for joining our team.
Are you going to set? I was wondering if you
We're
guys.
pretty much almost done.
I was wondering if you guys had like an excessive amount of artists.
We had 3 artists and 2 programmers.
Is that
about
too many, or is that a good amount?
It's not really the animators. I mean, it's not really the artists that I'm troubled about. It's that I don't know if we have enough programmers.
Honestly, 2 programmers.
Sorry, can I go since I'm the other programmer?
Sure.
Yeah, so I may be a little unreliable because I need to figure out how to install whatever game engine we're going to use. So yeah, we would like to have at least just one more programmer that's reliable and can back up Hitch.
I would like to add that I'm also not very experienced with video game engines when it comes to programming in those. So I may not be too reliable either. Is there any way you can get a person who is more reliable with video game engines or a programmer to join this group?
Here's the thing. Group 3, the White Assassins, they don't have any artists, but they have 3 programmers. So I was wondering if there was an artist here that was willing to join, but
All the
I don't
artists
know.
just left, though. I can message the group chat to see. Sorry, I forgot the project name. It was the Assassin one, right?
Yeah,
Forgot the project
Assassin
name.
in White, I think it was called.
I don't know. Maybe I'll ask them if they want to merge. Let me ask group number 5 and see. I'll let you know.
All right.
I think whoever had the Halos name, they offered to move.
Halo's name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were like, if there's too many artists. Okay, I'll put it in the group chats. Actually, well, no, the president just said she'll talk with group 5 first, so I'll wait until she gets back, and then if she says it's good, then I'll ask her. Okay. So Greek man, how are all the group projects doing so far? Are they all doing well?
Yeah, everybody's got some great ideas. I'm hearing some great ideas all around. You know, everybody's figuring out who's going to be what. There's good discussion happening. I'm just seeing some good stuff.
Okay, that's nice.
Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss is all I'm going to say. Chef's kiss.
I don't know if it's too early. Okay, that's good.
Well, I have faith. I think you guys are all going to do something great. I like the ideas I heard tonight. I think every team has an interesting game and a good amount of work ahead of them. But I got faith in all you guys.
Thanks, man.
Don't worry about it. Well, I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna go see what the other groups are up to. I'll see you guys in a bit.
Okay.
Later.
Paint or something.
I'm curious if
We
I
use
can.
Microsoft Paint all the time. It's our go-to IDE.
This is just a snip tool. Can you see me draw on this? So let's say you're a character, right? Can you see that?
Yes, I see the blue dot.
So let's say you go forward 1 blue dot, and then you reset to the start, and then you go 1 more blue dot forward, right? And then you would reset, right? And then maybe you go right this time. So you have to press forward, right. and then you go forward, right, up, right? Like that's the kind of path, right? And you're going through this, right?
So grid based.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's decently grid based, right? It's very clear, and then maybe there's a trap here, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And so you're like, oh no, I gotta go around that again, right?
Grid based with traps. Interesting.
Wait, what happens if you walk into the trap?
Let's say you walk into the trap, right? You go left here. Maybe you misclick, right? Okay. So maybe something effect happens, and this could be anything from a bad effect to just like, I don't know, it could just kill you. It could be a death square, right? I don't like the concept of death squares as much, but like maybe this trap like launches you back, right? Maybe it launches you back, right? And you don't like that because you're trying to go forward, right? Maybe you could you get reset and then you don't go on that trap.
Game plot. Yeah. Yeah.
A Greek.
I have come to see how discussions are coming along.
They're coming on pretty cool.
That is good.
And 3 programmers, and I think Chia doesn't have a mic.
Chia doesn't have a mic?
Yeah, but he's a programmer too, according to the Discord tag.
That's good.
Well, we need an artist though.
I think one of the groups has a lot of artists and not a lot of programmers, so if you want to talk with them, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's group 5, right?
I'm not entirely sure, but go ahead and talk to some of the other groups and be like, we don't have any artists, but what are you guys are down to join or whatever?
Can we like infiltrate them, or
you can infiltrate like Solid Snake. Call Mother Base, select the mission, infiltrate, get out the hot zone.
I think there's the guy who pitched the game with art style, like the drawing art. I think that's where most of the artists would be interested to go.
Yeah, well, go ahead and ask them. I think it'd be fine if you just be like, hey, we don't have any artists. Would one of you guys like to come work with us or whatever? I think it'd be fine.
Sure. Well, do you recommend going to the chat part or going directly to the voice chat?
Go directly.
All right.
Or maybe, yeah, just go directly. I think that would be fine. I'm gonna go jump into.
Oh, it was?
Ah.
Oh, hello.
Ah.
I do too.
What? What's so funny? What? What's so funny?
You're just kind of screaming into the mic, but I mean, like, you do you, man.
What? I just came in here. I just came to see how you guys are doing, and then you guys just make fun of me? What is this? No, this is just disrespectful. I came in here. I came to say hi. How you guys doing? And I just get disrespected. What is this?
You can't start beef on like the first meeting.
What is this?
Oh, hello. Where is everyone here?
Whoa.
This is a raid. This is a raid.
Raid shadows.
It's a Twitch raid.
A raid for artists.
Stormblessed is raiding with a party of 2.
Can I get a gifted sub?
No. You can get a free T-shirt.
Free shipping?
No. It's free, but you have to pay $5.
What's the point of free?
It's free, but you have to pay $5 shipping.
Shipping and tax.
Can I emo cookie lover? No, we don't do gifted subs. We do give exclusive access to our Discord.
Nice.
You know,
so
our
we're
Patreon
the assassins.
subscriber star. All right, well, I'm gonna see the other clubs. Good luck, guys.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
I guess the meeting's pretty much over. So Carter, if you, I don't know.
I will go. Then I will go into the other rooms.
Good night.
Good night. See ya.
What's going on? Meeting's over?
Who called me? Who called me?
Meeting's
Who
over?
said my name?
I didn't
Yes.
say anything.
Hello? Is
Well,
meeting? Oh, I don't
So, not really. It's almost over.
It's
I think.
almost over.
Almost over.
Damn,
It's like
Team
overtime.
5 is popping up. Let's go.
Yeah, Team 5 just has everybody. That Stormblessed is raiding with a party of 2.
Oh, wow. Let me rate you with my body of 0. Let's go.
Well, you can raid me at our Extra Life this year, where it'll be another torture stream.
Oh.
Yes, I knew.
Okay.
But this time I'm doing Minecraft.
Oh.
But, big, listen to this. Hear me out. You ready for this? So, I found a mod, right? You install it. However much you donate, something happens. Like, you donate $10, a wither spawns.
$10 for wither?
You donate $20, you spawn a, I don't know, I don't know.
Can we choose what we gonna spawn?
What?
Can we choose what we gonna spawn?
Well, here's the thing. I haven't installed the mod yet, and I need to still figure out when we're doing Extra Life this year.
Shaking my hand.
I will keep everyone posted when we're doing Extra Life. I need to figure out when I have free time.
Good.
Probably next month.
The video where the guy's Minecraft has like the sounds are all like super loud.
Oh God, no! Not for 12 hours, dude. Come on.
No, that would be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend doing that for more than like 10 minutes. But
No, I can't. I couldn't even. Come on, I have to do a 12 hours.
I was just wondering if anyone's seen that video because it's really funny. It's just
I
like
thought you were talking about
he
making
starts
music
like
for 12 hours.
mining wood with his hand. It's just like the most loud, obnoxious. Like the grain is really up too.
Oh, so you hear everything.
It's just like what? It just sounds like super distorted. It's so loud.
That sounds wrong.
That sounds fun.
Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
man.
you already know what we're doing for Extra Life this year. It's another torture stream. Oh God. Oh God.
Torture with what? What are you torturing yourself with?
Expect me in your. Expect
That's not
me in
torturous
your
enough.
server,
Do
man.
you know what? Okay, have you seen here? You know what? Go into off topic real quick. I'm
Yeah.
gonna share a video with you that basically gave me the idea for this.
I mean, off topic.
Chat.
It was this video
Yeah,
that
yeah.
gave me. Go into off topic. Go into off topic.
This is gaming.
Where's
off topic?
that?
Where's off topic? It's in miscellaneous.
It's right here.
Bam! Watch this video. This
Okay.
is where I got the idea from.
But viewers can spawn things interesting.
Oh,
Basically, it's a mod. You donate, and something happens. So basically, this is what will happen.
Oh my god. I don't like this guy's
yeah.
editing.
I love Too Mad. Don't disrespect Too Mad.
Yeah, he's funny.
I love Too Mad.
I hate these kinds of videos. They're just annoying.
I love Too Mad. He's so funny.
I mean, yeah, I just don't like the editing of these videos.
I love the editing.
It's like dangling a pair of keys in front of a kid.
I love it. Sad.
If you want a fun but like mentally torturous game, I would recommend Cruelty Squad. It's a really good FPS game, but it's intentionally designed to screw with your head and it looks ugly.
We're trying to raise
It's a really fun game.
funds. We're trying to raise funds for the kids. That's how a torture stream is how we do it.
Well, then play Cruelty Squad. Well, every time you engage with an enemy, it plays this distorted like noise like every single time.
Yeah. Well, we're doing Minecraft torture. It will
Are
be-
the other groups doing fine?
I think they're done. I'm gonna go see if the meeting's over.
Yeah, meeting's over.
Excuse me.
Meeting is over.
Oh, meeting's over.
I
So,
posted the.
do
I
I
posted the.
do
I posted the. I posted attendance form and voice general.
Do I
general
end the
voice.
stream or not?
Yes.
Just end it.
Okay. Done.
Stream.
What? Why is the stream not ending?
Be sure to like, subscribe, and